Welcome to Tremendous Talk. We got the industry, tea, and the jokes. Actors, directors, musicians, and more. You're listening to Tremendous Talk.
Hey guys, I'm Law.
And I'm Ash, and this is a Tremendous Talk podcast.
Each week, join us as we guide you through the realms of Hollywood and beyond while we speak to industry professionals in the spotlight.
So grab a boba tea and leave your shoes at the door. Welcome to Tremendous Talk.
Blah, blah, blah. Always good to be back. Thank you guys for being here. So excited for today's episode. Someone I've looked up to for a very, very long time as a Filipino American kid. So this week on the episode, we have the AJ Rafael. You may have seen him over the years on his YouTube channel, which now has over 1 million subscribers. Maybe you've heard his music, gets something like over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, but he is a legend to me.
1 million is a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
It's
a lot
not
of
a small amount.
A lot of hours of time. I don't think I can comprehend the amount that 1 million is. But
No.
over time, AJ has not only become an outspoken advocate for not only the Filipino community, but the AAPI community as a whole, but has taken his content to the next level in terms of quality and production value. And if I'm being honest, couple goals with him and his wife.
Yeah. And he's so vulnerable and open about his personal life too, which I love.
Absolutely.
But, you know, AJ is going to continue his journey into musical theater this year, as well as touring his music again. And we're excited to talk about his goals in not only music and that, but the entertainment industry as a whole, and to see what's in store for him next.
Absolutely. Stick to the end of this podcast because we got some juicy announcements that we're making. It's so juicy. A delicious little sandwich made from an Irish man.
We're very proud. Very proud.
Welcome to the Tremendous Talk podcast, AJ Rafael.
Woo!
Yay.
Great.
Okay, AJ, just to get things kind of going, we usually start things off with a speed round, actually. You
Love
know,
it.
gets adrenaline going, gets people in a panic mode.
mean-
Okay, so it's not really not that hard. So what makes you tremendous? I know it's a loaded question to start off with.
Yeah.
My family powers my tremendousness.
Oh, wow, that's a great answer.
That's great because we're gonna talk. We're gonna bring up family later, which is
Hell
great.
yeah, we are. Hell yeah, we are. Okay, what's your favorite boba order or your go-to boba order?
Ooh, lately it's been winter melon with boba half sweet tea, the winter melon tea.
You got to get into
Okay.
the specifics of the sugar. I'm a no sugar gal. I love when
Oh,
you gotta
zero?
get like yes,
You're a
zero.
zero sugar.
Right in the vein, zero.
For
Just drink
real?
water.
Yeah. Just drink water.
I
What are
have
you
ordered
doing?
a cup full of boba before when I was a child.
Just
But
boba.
we won't talk about that.
Those are some chaotic choices that you're doing. We need to have a podcast about your.
No, but
You-
boba
you.
when you were a child is wild because boba didn't come to fruition, I feel like, till I was a teenager.
Ah.
We had like sago, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And
Right.
but like boba is like a different consistency for sure.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have done that as a safety issue. What's your favorite comfort food?
Mm.
Ooh, my mom's sinigang.
Oh, I wish I could taste some. Oh, my
Mm.
body just got like warm and like
Mm.
cozy. Oh.
Mm.
Okay,
Sitting
this
gang.
might be a hard song. My question for you, but what is your song on repeat right now?
Oh, it's got to be 3090 from
Yeah.
Tick Tick Boom, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
will. Yes, we will. Okay, and then lastly, do you have a YouTube video that you watch when you're just sad or you need like a boost? Like, what is the instant happy YouTube video that you have?
It's not a YouTube video per se, but it is Screen Crush, this YouTube channel, Screen Crush, and I just watch Easter egg videos of even stuff that I haven't watched.
Love it.
That makes me happy. Law, do you have a favorite YouTube video? Or like a happy
favorite
one?
YouTube video?
A happy one. Happy place.
Something that I practice, we've talked about it on the podcast, is small but certain happiness. Like something I can
Yes.
just put on and then it will just like change my mood.
Yes.
But for me, like I said, Ash, a good Twice music video. You know, but there's a specific kind of unintentional ASMR video that I love where it's just this Irish guy making his perfect sandwich. And he speaks in like I think it's Celtic or Gaelic. I'm not entirely sure what the language is, but like he'll switch between English and that. And I'll just like put this on. And I'm just watching this older white man make a horrible sandwich. It is not a good sandwich. but like it's fascinating to me and it calms me down. I don't know, like
Small but certain, you said?
small but certain happiness.
I love
It's
it.
like something that you can just do every day. Like for me, like if I can have a bad day, but I have a cheeseburger at the end of the day, I'm a little bit better. You know what I mean? Or like I listen to a
That's
little bit of
sweet.
K-pop, I'm a
That's
little
sweet,
bit
Law.
better. Yeah. So
Wait, AJ, do you have a small but certain happiness? Like, what
yeah,
can
what
you
is
do
like
that, like,
yours?
you know?
Small but certain happiness. I think, yeah, putting something on for sure, like on YouTube. And then for sure, a small dose of my dogs anytime they walk in.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
well, when I recently, looked up why petting your dog is so therapeutic or whatever, I guess it releases like serotonin or something. So I've been petting them when I feel like I need to be happy. And
Mhm.
when I pet them all the way down the back, I really actually feel something chemically happening. It might be because I looked it up, but it's
Hey, if
it's
it's if
working.
it effective, it's effective.
It's
You know what I
working.
mean? No, we all need like a little bit of instant happiness in any way, any form that we can make it. But
Yeah.
um, dude, thank you first of all for coming on the podcast. That was our speed round. I know not super fast, but very, very enlightening. You had great answers, I would say. But
Thank you.
dude, it's crazy. I don't even remember what age I was when I came across AJ Rafael on YouTube. But I remember being like, damn, this Filipino guy is killing it. I also loved your style and stuff like that. And you sang really well. And
Wow.
so now I'm seeing kind of like how you've grown over the years. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that like I get to share space with you at events and stuff, and that you're on our podcast. And when you reflect on that journey, kind of a big question to start, I guess, but when you reflect on that journey, are you ever kind of like in awe of the steps that you've taken to get to where you are right now?
Um, there's two sides to how I feel about that. First of all, thank you for that. Um, I really feel it when I meet somebody who grew up with my music. Yesterday, I was just walking around Long Beach, and it happened a couple of times, and you can kind of tell when it's gonna happen because usually they're Asian, most likely they're Filipino, and they're looking at you, and they're not looking at me because I'm a cute guy. Probably not. They are looking at me because they're like, wait, I know that guy.
Mm.
And then it clicks with them, and then they may not have seen my stuff lately, but then they come up to me and then they say, it's you, I grew up with you. You're part of my childhood, and these very meaningful things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're grown. You have a kid now. This is amazing. And it's cool to grow with them. So I acknowledge it in that moment that I am a part of a lot of people's maybe core memories or iPod playlists that they have attached to certain times in their life.
Mm.
And then the other side of that question is, or that reflection is when I really think about it, sometimes I get a little overwhelmed because it's like, man, I've been grinding forever. That's what it
Yeah.
feels like sometimes. So I'm very grateful for the journey, and I realize and acknowledge that I've accomplished a lot. And then on the other hand, I want to do more,
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
So yeah, I get both doses of that in everyday life. Literally at Disneyland is where it happens the most, is where I get recognized the most, and maybe a Laker game, and then for sure last week at the Barrio Hi-Fi Filipino
I
Fest.
bet. Yeah.
It was a lot of people who were very, very excited of all ages. Even parents, titas, titos, and then young kids who are in high school, the Gen Z, maybe Gen A, who maybe heard of me through their older siblings or cousins or whatever.
Mm.
And I'm grateful that for the journey of it all, and that I can like see it. I can
Yeah.
tangibly see it.
that's so
Wow.
wild. That's so wild. Being able to like visually see like all the different years of your journey and everything. I mean, you're such like a multifaceted artist, right? Like you were born in this age of creation, or like,
Yeah.
you know, your music was born in this age of creation where, you know, creation was to create. Like YouTube was just to create. It wasn't monetized yet. Like you just
Mhm.
Yeah.
made things to make things. And
Mm.
now in the age of like monetization, brand dealerships, like what is your idea of success? Like how do you go to
Mm.
sleep at night feeling like content with things too? And like you're on TV now, like you're doing so many things, like you know, how do you go to sleep knowing like okay, I did it.
Yeah, I think a part of you does have to look at your um, not just successes, but like what your current life looks like, and then to reflect on like, hey, I'd be happy if, and I throw this out a lot, if I died tomorrow, because I've been through a lot of tragedy. My dad passed away when I was young. Like a lot of people don't like to talk about death,
Mhm.
but the way I see it is that, you know, when I think about even my dad's life and how much he accomplished, and you know, he had three kids who can carry on legacy and stuff. Like, you know, for me, my I feel grateful that, you know, I left some kind of connection, and my songs that will live on
Yeah.
even past all of us, which is wild to think, right? It's like Spotify in 100 years,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? We'll still have our stuff and we'll all be gone. So I go to sleep being happy in that, and where you know, I have a house with my wife, and you know, I have my dogs, and I've helped take care of my family and stuff. So that makes me sleep at night. But there is, again, as you're saying, and I'm exploring all these other scenes, acting, musical theater, things that people don't necessarily know me for, and these are all just things in my heart that I want to accomplish and get better at. So, you know, I still also go to sleep wanting to wake up the next day and
You're
wanting to
hungry.
be
Yeah.
better at all this stuff.
I love that. I mean, I think that's a very normal and validating thing for creatives to hear and feel, you know what I mean? Because it is, yeah, you may have like raised a couple steps, but you're like, all right, but I'm still headed up towards wherever. And thank you for sharing. And like, you know, I appreciate your vulnerability over the years. You know what I mean? I remember like even listening to the songs that you wrote when you were younger, those were the feelings I was going through, you know,
Yeah.
like unrequited love and like
Hmm.
loving Emma Watson from afar. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like stuff
God.
like that.
Yep.
And then I even like I remember you did a cover of Dance with My Father again, and I shared that with my mom because she was going through a hard time when my
Oh
grandpa
man.
passed away. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's crazy getting to see kind of you grow up alongside me in a personal way, but that must reflect back in your fans too. And you mentioned, you know, people recognizing you at Disneyland and stuff like that. And you hear a lot of people being like, you impacted my life in XYZ ways. But I'm curious on the flip side, how has maybe a fan connection or something like what's been a memorable moment where a fan has impacted you in a really big way?
Um, I, I think that when I was first starting out on YouTube, a lot of people were like, "Hey, you inspired me to play piano better. You inspired me to pick up the ukulele. You inspired me to play guitar, learn some more chords and stuff like that." As the years go by, after my album Red Roses comes out, 2011, I'm playing a lot more shows and events and stuff, and it kind of evolves into, "Hey, you make me proud to be Filipino, or you make me
Ugh.
proud to be myself, or to be proud of myself. You inspire me to be proud of where I come from." And not just me, you know, it's, you know, people like Jeremy Passion and Gabe on Dog Jarek, you know, Jesse Brewer, Jeff Burnett, like Melissa Palmer, all these people who are like, in our bios, it's like Filipino American artists, you know, or we get booked for the Filipino shows because of our heritage, you know. The fact that I mean, first of all, we can't hide it with our faces, you know, with our skin. And YouTube kind of was the only place for us to kind of do that and be ourselves. And, you know, a lot of us were not signed to record labels and things like that. we didn't have the privilege of even hiding that we were of maybe hiding our race. I think a lot of people have to find out maybe that Bruno Mars is Filipino. I know that he has been more vocal about it over the years, and then some other people who we find out are half Filipino, right?
Yeah.
But I think for us, we couldn't really hide it. And then, of course, the events that were, paying us and flying us out and stuff were the Filipino events. So it was very cool to see that change. And I do get a lot of, man, you inspired me first to play music, and I'm very grateful for that. But even more touching is that when it brings them back to saying how proud they are to be Filipino or Asian American,
Yeah.
Hell
There's something really powerful about like owning that brown skin and that heritage and stuff. And I think a lot of us, especially our generation, I'm pretty sure we're all like similar aged here. It's just, there was a lot of shame for me growing up. I wanted to be white so bad, dude. Like I was a pop punk kid. Like, I don't know. It's just so
I feel that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so beautiful. Like when I think of like Filipino American artists that I absolutely adore and look up to, you're the top on that list. Like I aspire to be the kind of Filipino American musician that you are. But
Oh,
in an
thank you.
interview with David, so you were talking about how you kind of didn't know your place in the world until you made your own. Like, can you talk about that creation of this like world of your own that you made for yourself?
Yeah, I think that when I was young, I probably did dream of being like a pop star, I guess, or someone who was. I really loved the pop punk bands and stuff, but as I grew up, when I first picked up a guitar, I wasn't making punk music. I was like looking at Jason Mraz or John Mayer,
Mm,
yo, I want to be hanging with them. I always say that my dream collaborator is Jason Mraz. But I realized that, especially being an unsigned artist, I felt like I was just a kid from a small town, Moreno Valley. I'm like, I don't know if I'll get to that place, right? You have these thoughts in your head. And then when I did start just like expressing myself on YouTube and doing my thing and posting covers and things like that, and then realizing, oh, I have 1,000 subscribers. Oh, what does that mean? The same people are in my comments. They're always coming back. I've created a community. Now I have 2,000 subscribers, 10,000, 100,000. And then, you start almost talking to them, because my videos used to be, it started off as me playing piano off to the side, barely looking at the camera maybe once or twice to check if it's recording. It turns into I'm talking to a camera, which back in the day was very weird. Everybody now is doing it and no one gives a damn. But when you're talking to a laptop and you're talking to no one, but you're really talking to a community, that's when I realized I'm like, this is something I need to care for. And like, I, in a lot of ways, and I know there are fans who maybe feel entitled to, artists' energy and time, but
sure.
I really felt like I owed, and still do to some extent, a certain time and energy to my fans and to give them a YouTube video every week, to be consistent. Like they almost helped me be accountable for being consistent on YouTube and creating this community. So I'm grateful that it got bigger over the years and, but yeah, that kind of is my little world, and my little bubble of, the people that I've affected over the years.
Must
That's so
feel
beautiful.
That must feel good though to have cultivated something that supports you so well. You know what I
And
mean?
it's
Like
so
both
much.
internally and then and beyond,
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Like it's so outside of yourself. Like it's so much more than what you think it is, right? Like,
Mhm.
wow, that's beautiful.
I'm curious just because you have been in this, I think the word content is kind of like nebulous. It just depends on who's using it, right? But you have been in the world of creating quote unquote content for a very long time, and you've seen those changes. You know what I mean? You saw YouTube turn into what it is, and you've probably, seen like kind of like the ups and downs of the TikTok era and all that stuff. And I know like you and Alyssa, you guys did, the Disney covers and went very viral. How do you navigate the world of content creation? How like does it get draining? Does it get monotonous or meticulous for you? Do you genuinely enjoy the process now, given that it is an ever changing medium, I guess?
Yeah, that's I I did grow up in the internet era when it wasn't called even social media. Like that wasn't even the
Hmm.
name for it. Then to be called a creator, I remember this tweet that my friend John Cozart, he's known as Paint on YouTube. He posted, "Why are we all called creators now? Are we God?" It's so funny to me. Like we're not God. Like we're not. You know, in a lot of ways though, it does encompass an overall like content creators. You know creators or whatever. But for me, I always wanted to be known as just a musician.
Hmm.
Um, but that is a little bit of ego because it's like you want to be known for this thing that you do really well. But the thing is about artists um, and even people who maybe don't do music or don't do any art is that you end up following that person because of the person, you know, and you end up following somebody because maybe maybe it wasn't music, maybe it was
Hmm.
because you related to something that they said, or maybe uh, because they have the same background as you and they can relate to you. You know what I mean? And then you give them the content to maybe stick around or for them to enjoy. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on branding, quote unquote, on what how we navigate the world as content creators. Like I used to back in the day, I used to tell people to not put in my bio because the buzzwords were like YouTube star back in the day, because
Hmm.
I had 500K subscribers at the time or whatever, and they're always like YouTube sensation age. I'm like, don't do that. Can you just call me a recording artist or something or whatever,
Hmm.
singer songwriter, which still holds true. But I don't mind that I carry many labels. I don't. If somebody found me from a video where me and Alyssa are not even doing something music related, me and my wife, it's like, okay, well, you found me through not music, you know what I mean? Or me doing, I just put out a reel of me reacting to my voice acting debut for the first time and all this stuff. Like people will find you in different ways that you shouldn't let that get in the way um, of that discovery for them, I guess. Like that, people always love finding somebody new. So something I always remember too, as I'm going through this, and a lot of people know me as an OG YouTuber or whatever, is that my music could be new to anybody. My content could be new to anybody, and they could have just discovered me for the first time. So that's how I kind of navigate. I don't want to always just assume that I have this like legacy behind me that people are supposed to know about.
Yeah, sure.
So that makes creating content fresh for me every time. Like all my TikToks and all that stuff.
Hmm.
It's been very fun for me to figure out all of these platforms that come and go. Specifically
Yeah.
TikTok, because I think that anybody can really have a viral hit or reach a lot of people on TikTok. So it's been fun and it's been a grind.
Wow. What That's a very refreshing take on the outlook of social media. I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. I mean, personally, like one of the things that I love watching in your content, all the things that you and your wife do, is kind of just the relationship that you two have. Like you guys are a
Hmm.
power couple. I hope you know that. Like you
Oh,
are a
thank you.
true blue power couple. And My husband and I, we both do music together too, and I often look at YouTube and I'm like, wow, that's awesome, dude.
Oh,
Like,
that's
I want to be like
amazing.
them. How can I do that? Like, how can we integrate more of like our creativity and business in a way that like, I don't know. I saw you guys sing at like weddings and stuff, and I've seen all your videos and like your
Hmm,
podcasts and stuff. You do so
hmm.
much together.
Oh, yeah.
How do you balance that like as a couple, your working relationship and just like cultivating your marriage and stuff?
Mm,
Well, we do things that are exciting to spontaneously do. So, for example, like one of our viral videos is us working at home during the pandemic, and she's singing in the back. She's singing
mhm.
Reflection, right? And that was a spontaneous thing. And then we were like, oh my gosh, let's do it again. People liked it, and all this stuff. When it did, though, start to feel like work, we we paused and
Okay.
reflected and communicated, and we said, hey, let's check in with each other to see if
Oh,
you know what I mean, if like, because we don't want to, anything that ends up feeling like work, especially creatively, it gets draining really fast.
mhm.
So I knew that from having experience of doing YouTube for, it's going to be 20 years in 2026.
Wow.
So
That's
so
crazy.
I called it out, and I was like, "Hey, are we happy doing this right now still, And we're like, "Okay, maybe let's take a break." And then we started, focusing a lot on her own solo content, you know what I mean? And things that, if it was following the trends or doing her own singing videos or whatever it was. So yeah, working, quote unquote, with your wife and making music with them is, it can be tricky, but I think it should be fun, which is what it is. And then, getting booked for weddings together is very cool to get the email where it's like, hey, I saw you do weddings, would love to also, you know, fly your wife out, pay her,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we have these joint kind of bookings. It's very reaffirming to do that, especially both coming from performing families. Like, we're both
Yeah.
the eldest as well.
Oh.
Ah,
And so, y'all can
fíjate.
imagine
That makes sense.
the Filipino gatherings, and then we have to sing for everybody or whatever,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. So we both have a huge understanding and empathy for the pressures of being the eldest child, and especially being in performing. And luckily we were not discouraged by our parents. Like, both of our parents, set of parents, were very encouraging for
Mhm.
us to do music. So we're very lucky in that sense. But yeah, I'm just very happy to have a musical connection with my wife, even, and that's obviously just a bonus because
Yeah.
we love each other. It's just company. But it's cool to be able to harmonize like on the random, and I'm playing the
Yeah.
piano randomly, and then she just comes out and starts singing, an improv song or something. I'm like, oh my God, that was good. Like, let's do more of that, So yeah, it's cool.
It makes me so happy. Yeah, when you guys do stuff like that too, I'm like, wow, that's us. That's one of the times where like I resonate so hard with you and your
Mm,
wife's videos and stuff. And it makes me so happy. But also just from you both coming from the eldest in the family and like having this performing background, I would feel so safe in like any music band, in any like show, anytime you
Uh,
guys are on set, I know I'll be taken care of. That's so cool.
oh, thanks, Ashley. I'm looking forward to hearing your music with your husband.
Thank
they're
you.
cool. I think they're cool as hell. You
Sick.
guys are all cool and
You guys
talented
stream? Like, it
musicians.
looks like you have a whole setup.
No, this is actually the recording studio that we have. So the control room is behind that window, and then this room
Very
is the
cool.
live room that we usually use to record in. But it's a
That's
mix of things over
goals.
here.
Oh my
He
God,
built
that's
this
been a
with his
window this whole
bare hand.
time.
Yeah, it's a window. But all of this he built with his bare hands. Shout out to Jared.
Shout out to
That is
Jared.
so sick. That's goals.
Are you gonna do something with your house?
Yeah, we have a two-car garage that is detached with an
Mm.
extra shed, so it's
No way.
like the size of a three-car garage. And yeah, we're deciding what to do with it. An ADU could be very expensive, but I just
Yeah.
want to get to work in there. I want to get it
Yeah.
insulated
Yeah.
and already. So yeah, that's coming soon, hopefully.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. That's so
Hell yeah.
exciting. Ah.
Yeah, thank you.
Ash, do you have any burning music questions right now before we get to this big news that we got teased?
I actually do. Okay, let me just nerd out with you really quick. So something I remember, I haven't seen you live before, but I remember watching you during the East West Players Gala 2022. I think it was
Oh, with
2022,
Michelle
something.
Yeoh?
Yeah, with Michelle Yeoh, because we got Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere through work. But I was watching you and I was like, that guy's a fucking jazzer. Like this guy knows what he's fucking doing. And then me and my husband, we couldn't take your eyes off you. We were just like watching you play. And it's so, I don't know, like I've seen your videos and all these things, but just watching you live, I was like, you can see the talent like ooze off of the people when they're playing, right? And I don't know,
Wow.
I want to get in your background, man. Like you went to Berkeley, you've done all these things. Like, can you talk about like your daily practice or something? I don't know, just nerd out about music for a little bit.
I love that. Thank you for noticing. Galas and gigs like that, I don't actually do like instrumental background gigs all the time because I just feel it's like elevator music. I'm like, let's just put a playlist on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then if I get other players with me who I know will just jam,
It felt like a jam.
that is the bet. I'll do that all day. And
Yeah.
so when I get to hire the best players and I get the budget for it, and then I know that these people can hang with me, and not to say that as in like not everybody can hang, but when I think of music, it's like numbers, the number
Yeah.
system. Doesn't matter what key we are. And if I'm playing the one and then I'm like, we're going to the four, and I just do that and everyone can hang and then they feel where it's going next. There's only really, maybe 20 musicians I'm very, very close with who can do that with me. That is where I feel like I shine, we all shine as a band. So I really appreciate you saying that because that gig was tough because it was very loud everywhere. And I thought that
Yeah, it was in a warehouse, like a
it was
cement
in a
warehouse.
warehouse. I thought that the speakers were too loud, that everyone was then talking very loud. And then, so there's all these kind of factors in gigs that are against you, and all you can do is just play. So we were just having so much fun. Anyway, I started playing piano when I was 5. My mom says I was 2.5, but I don't believe her. So, I was 5. My dad taught me a lot, but it got to the point where we needed to get a classical piano teacher, to like a private teacher. So, I learned a lot. I learned reading and playing classical music. But when he died when I was 10, I continued classical music a little bit, but he played a lot of pop music and he played at the church. So when I took his place as a pianist at 10 years old, literally, played piano at his funeral, my mom took over his choir directing. So we split his job into 2. But for me, all I had was, in the Catholic Church, it's a lot of melody and chords. So it's fake book style. If for those who know what that is, it's like essentially if you look at a jazz fake book or a real book, it just has melody and chords. It doesn't have what the left hand is doing. So I grew up from, a young age making up what I'm doing with my left hand, to support what I'm doing on the right hand, really having a love for melody. I really love the correct melody notes, but with left hand that I'm making up. So a fusion of that is my style of music.
I
Literally,
can hear it. Now that you've explained it, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I really emphasize what the song is saying, which is the melody or the harmony or whatever. And then I kind of add my own touch on it. And, a lot of piano inspirations are Jim Brickman, Vanessa Carlton, plays with a lot of feeling. People who play with their whole body,
Oh yeah.
I think is my style. So yeah, and then fast forward 2008, 9, I go to Berklee College of Music, and they're a big jazz school. So I was in jazz band in high school. I was not great at doing solos. I'm still not great at doing solos. I feel like I'm just a very good accompanist and comper for what's happening either in the band or with the vocalist. If you watch my YouTube videos, I've accompanied singers like someone like a Tori Kelly who can go crazy to, folk singers and stuff. I just have to be a chameleon or do what's best to bring their voice out. So that's really my style, as well as like, I just want to be the best supporter of what's happening. And if it's my own right hand with the melody, I'm going to support that as best as I can to my own unique style. And if my friend is singing, or if my wife is singing or whatever, I'm going to do what's best to have that, whatever the song is telling. So that's kind of my background. I mean, it's a little more philosophical than technical. I read music very well. I've done theater audition accompanist, which is the most stressful job
That's
ever. Because they're bringing in music that you are reading for the first time.
your sight reading, yeah.
Yeah, you're sight reading essentially, and theater music is complicated. That's I don't do Sondheim well, or
Yeah, here's this Sondheim piece. Good luck.
literally that's why they tell you to not bring Sondheim to musical auditions, because the pianist may fumble it. So that's kind of my weakness. But yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes down to it. But at the end of the day, it's been about feel for me.
Wow, that's so like tactical, and I love the philosophic element to it, because for people who don't know music or the piano, it is so complicated to match exactly what a singer is doing. Like that in itself
Mm.
is an art that takes a lifetime to curate. So, duh. That's so sick. That is so sick. I love talking about this stuff. But I
Thank
want to know,
you.
like, how have you integrated more of like this musical theater? Because your wife is like she's doing musical theater now and stuff more, and like, how are you
Belle.
integrating? Yeah. But what's your
Yes.
journey been like in musical theater too?
Yeah, I've been doing musical theater. My first musical was in 6th grade, and my teacher found out I played the piano. So I was this role that it was called Bugsy Malone Jr.
Oh, how cute.
I was this janitor named Fizzy. He wore like, one of those Newsies hats. But he had a solo song,
Oh, dang.
and she had me play the piano
In
while
6th grade?
in 6th grade while singing the song, and no tracks, because everything else was tracks. And she found out I could play and sing at the same time. And I remember this because I remember it very vividly, because it's my first time doing this, not at church, not for my family. I'm playing and I'm to the side, and my pants are on, and I feel like they're too tight. I'm insecure about the way my pants look. And if it looks like, I don't know, you can see stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was like, I remember the moment, because I wasn't even worried about the song. I was worried about how I looked to. I was self-conscious, for the first time. So musical theater really brought out these uncomfortable. I'm still uncomfortable doing musicals a lot of the time. The last musical I was in Greece. I had a guitar, which was cool. But for one part of it, I take off the guitar and I have to dance. And
Uh-oh.
like what to do with my hands, and things like that. And I really have to work hard on the choreography, because it doesn't come naturally to me. So, I love it because it challenges me. I'm able to be somebody else
Yeah.
on stage, and I channel a lot of me. One of my other last roles was I played Pepper in Mamma Mia, and that character wouldn't have been played usually the way that I played, because Pepper's supposed to be a really great dancer. He's supposed to be kind of suave and like charming, and I kind of played it like, I don't know, if it was me, So I love bringing elements of my own personal life experience into a character that is written, still going off their text, and then doing it in the way that I can, So I love musical theater. Alyssa loves musical theater. She, as you said, she's playing Belle right now at the Nocturne Theater in Glendale, and this is her first professional musical. The last musical she's been in was in college. So it's this, and to be fair, she did play Mulan at Disneyland for a very long time for the show Mickey and the Magical Map, which
Love that
was
show.
essentially-
Miss
yeah.
that show
It was
so
a theatrical
much.
show. So I miss it so much.
That's so
But she had a total of 10 minutes on stage there. This is a full stage play musical where she is playing the lead. So she's worked really hard, and yeah, I have an upcoming role that I'm preparing for, that I'm taking cues off her. I'm watching the way she preps, the way she's in the corner at the house with their headphones on, reading the script and really honing into what her character is.
Oh, I love this.
Well,
Wait,
stop the clock. Drop some fire on us. What's coming up? I've been waiting for this moment because I literally just got chills again when you said you're prepping for a role. Please tell our audience, because I mean, it's so good. It's such a good role to get. So please share with us.
Yeah, tremendous talk. Heard it first. Unless I say it on my social media first, but I booked the role of Jonathan Larson in the musical Tick Tick Boom.
So
Yes.
good.
And I'll
oh my
be
God.
Yes, I'll be playing the piano, singing books of monologues. Like, I'm looking at this script, it is 60 pages, and I'm like wanting to die. But I love how geeked out y'all got before we started recording the podcast. It's a very big moment for me, because while in college I played Ren in Footloose, like I played a lead there, but throughout the years it's been stuff or musicals that I know that I can handle in a way. I'm like, okay, I can do that part. That's one song, couple scenes, I'm good. And this came at a time where I felt like I really needed a theater, like something on stage. It's been 2 years since my last musical. I mean, actually, me and Alyssa we found out we both got these shows on the same exact day.
No way. No way. I
was
cannot
on a
imagine the house.
Kismet, dude.
And it was wild. It was wild. First off, there's a casting director named Lucky Allen Weaver who I worked with at East West Players. He was the assistant director for Mamma Mia, and he's a Filipino, and he really vouched for me as a casting director out in this theater called Signet Theater in San Diego. So they had been auditioning people since December looking for their John.
Oh my gosh.
I got hit up in March.
Holy.
Lucky. And Lucky said, hey, I know you probably wouldn't even go out for this role. Clearly it's an autobiographical musical. Jonathan Larson, John, is a white man, right? And sometimes he's played by a Latinx actor. We've seen Lin-Manuel do it, so we know that's what we've seen. So I wouldn't see a Tick Tick Boom and be like, let me go in for John. I might maybe go in for like Michael, right?
Right.
Hold on, you're the first Asian American John ever?
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but this is going to be a month-long production, and it's at Signet Theater, which is a very great theater. They do large producing works, bodies of work in San Diego, Old Town San Diego. They've been doing it for a while. Beautiful. So to be hit up for this, and he said, I think you're going to be my secret weapon. Can you film yourself singing 3090 and then do this monologue? And I said, okay. I literally did not that I didn't put care into this tape, but I didn't clear the background to anything. I said, okay. And I put it on the piano. I didn't clear my piano. I just did it. And I sang 3090. Also sang the last song called Why.
Wait, were you in like kind of like a fuck it mode? Like you didn't think you were gonna get it?
In a lot of ways, yes. Because to me, it was just good practice that I was going to get to do this, including the monologue, which I didn't watch any Tick Tick Boom before except for the movie. So I didn't really look up how the original actor Raul did it, or Neil Patrick Harris, who was another one who did it. And I just did the monologue from my heart. And I said, I'm John. I'm that guy, right? And I get on a Zoom a week later with the director and the choreographer and Lucky. And I'm thinking I'm getting notes to, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking it was a director session. So I actually had my keyboard ready and all that stuff. And they were like, man, we really love the way you played John in the monologue. It's very honest and refreshing. You weren't playing it angsty like everybody else was. Well, yeah, we just want to offer you the part. And I was like,
Oh my gosh. Big
oh
win.
my God. So that was 10 a.m. And I was stoked and still in disbelief. I called my manager. And my manager is putting me out for a Broadway and tour stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I'm in Hamilton auditions every effing year, and it kills me because I'm, you know, getting callbacks and I never book it. I called my manager. I was like, dude, I got it. Let's negotiate it. I want to go out to San Diego. Let's do it.
Yeah.
10 a.m. At 2 p.m. we're in the car, me and Alyssa. And Alyssa's very stoked for me, by the way. Alyssa just gets like an email that says, you've got the role of Belle.
Oh
and then
my
she
God.
looks at me. I remember she'll just be like, babe, I booked it. And then we're just like screaming together. We're like, no, freaking way. We're like driving. Like literally the day, it was such a fateful day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it got us, you know, scheduled our year out. Then we started, you know, I don't know. It was very cool.
I have goosebumps.
That's such a cool story. And it's funny, just like in this conversation alone, you know, you talked about the first role where you had to play piano and sing.
Yes.
I see that Spider-Man on your arm, and Andrew did such a good job with the role, you know.
It's like all
and
it comes together.
Sondheim came up, like, yeah, no, like it's a very what a beautiful
wow.
thing.
Wait, the Sondheim connection is interesting because if people are familiar with Tick Tick Boom, Sondheim was just like he was who he wanted to impress.
His idol.
And here I am
yeah.
saying that Sondheim is still the weakest part for me.
It's so interesting. No, I'm honestly, Ash, we got to go to San Diego for this.
Are you kidding?
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
It runs from July 4th to August 4 or something like that for a whole month.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna be in San Diego in July anyway, so I'll check it out. I have to.
AJ,
Please
can you think of like your whole journey with like Filipino representation and everything? Can you imagine all the Filipinos in San Diego watching you as their Jonathan?
There's a lot there.
Well, I have to say that, you know, on my Take Me Back tour last year, which was my first tour in 9 years, we played San Diego and we sold out the House of Blues that we had to put a second night.
Woo.
And I had just never seen that many Filipinos at a House of Blues, you know. And I'm just like, it was amazing to see all that support. And actually the very first show that I played that was not in my hometown that I got gas money for. Actually, I don't even know if I got gas money. I probably had to sell some shirts to make gas money, but it was at Southwestern College in San Diego. So I have a really, you know, soft spot for San Diego because Filipinos specifically in San Diego really believed in me and you know, paid me to do music, and I'll always be grateful. So to do a musical play like this back in San Diego is, again, it's a full circle moment.
That's beautiful, man. And you deserve it. Like you said at the start of this, you've been grinding for forever. That's how it feels, right? So these moments, I hope you take time to really celebrate these wins, you know, because I know
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know you're probably going to stay hungry, and after this musical, you're going to have, you know, something else that you want, right? But it is incredible that, you know, like not only are you setting an example for, you know, other, you know, young brown creatives that want to be like that, but like you're also just like you're building yourself up, you know, you're getting stronger day by day, and like it's inspiring, man. And that's why we're so happy to have you on the podcast today.
Yes, you and Alyssa, just roles of a lifetime at the same time. Like
that's crazy.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and similar loads of work. I think that's the crazy part about it is because when I did do Grease 2 years ago, it's one song, again, 2 scenes, and it felt like what they call is the princess track, where like you just do your thing, and then the whole show I'm just chilling. And
Yeah.
like backstage, everyone's changing and shit, and they're like, there's AJ just, hanging on the couch. Where it's opposite, where I'm gonna have to I'm on stage for every moment except for two songs. This,
Wow.
Alyssa is, she's there throughout the whole, yeah, everyone has seen the movie. You know what I mean? She goes through phases of little town, it's a quiet village, to fighting for her life because she's trying to save her dad. And then, it's very cool that we both are on journeys with our characters. And then it's also, the timing of it has been amazing because hers is in May, and then I start rehearsals in June.
Oh, so you can
Wow.
support each other.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I'll be going to, as many as I can in May to see her, and then in July she'll come out to San Diego and watch the show too. So it's we're very glad that it's happening.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
my heart.
This is
Oh,
the
my
life.
heart.
Bo, bo, bo,
This
bo,
is
bo.
the life. Bum, 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 bum.
Hey. Well, AJ, we don't want to take too much of your time. We definitely went over the allotted time that we had with you today.
We're
but
having a convo.
yes,
Thank you so much. This is so
For real.
awesome. Can I ask you, does your mom know about the news for Tick Tick Boom yet?
Oh yeah. When did we? Yeah, we knew in March, and I called, of course, my family right away, and my sister, who's on Broadway right now.
Everyone's on Broadway.
It's a whole thing too.
Crazy. Her being on Broadway is just, it causes us even more to be like, it's all possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if my mom had 3 of her kids on Broadway in New York at one point, like, it's possible. We can get there. So we always all celebrate each other's wins. Called my family, of course, right away, and my mom so excited. And then on that Sunday, I think was the Super Bowl. Oh, maybe we found out in February. I don't know when the Super Bowl was, but we watched
Wow.
the Super Bowl. But when me and Alyssa got to my mom and stepdad's house in Lake Forest, there were all these things on the wall with my face on Andrew Garfield's body, Alyssa's face on Emma Watson, like,
Oh my
literally
gosh.
all these posters on the wall that they had printed for us, that we both got the lead roles.
My heart.
Dude, that just broke my brain a little bit that your wife is playing
Emma
a
Watson.
role Emma Watson
Oh my God, I
played.
know.
It's so
It's like,
funny.
it's a weird manifestation type thing. It's like, all
Dude,
right,
those connections must be I mean, that's got to be so gratifying.
these
I can't
are
wait.
Easter eggs.
Bro, yeah, there's Easter eggs
Make an
of your
Easter
life.
egg
This is
video.
your screen crush video. This is what we're putting
Yeah,
together
new
right
rock
now.
stars.
There we go. The new rock stars of a rock star, AJ Rafael. That's awesome.
Oh my
But yeah,
gosh.
my mom is very, very proud of us. She just had 2 major stints in the hospital, so we've just been looking at life a lot differently
Sure.
lately. And even mom is trying to go to opening night for Alyssa, which is tomorrow, May 10th.
Oh, tomorrow is.
It's
Oh
here,
my
here.
gosh.
Damn.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
She was 2 weeks rehearsal. That's it, which is wild.
2 weeks. 2
My
weeks.
brain. Yeah, that's
2
crazy.
It's impossible. I cannot effing believe. But my mom wanting to come tomorrow, and she's still recovering. I'm like, Ma, please rest, like, get a little more better.
Yeah.
So she'll come in 3 weeks. Thank God I convinced her to come closer to closing.
Yeah.
And then she'll come in and be on a walker and stuff. Like, it's gonna
That's real love, though.
absolutely.
That's real love. I love
Absolutely.
that you have that in your lives.
Oh, my heart. I just want to say too, like, my dad is sick, and your whole journey of you just being vulnerable and sharing about
Yeah.
your mom and stuff. I loved that. I loved it. And then even to you, like, rescheduling your tour dates and everything and shifting stuff around for her. I just like I respect that
We have a
so
lot of
much.
respect for you.
So
for sure.
much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I hope your dad gets better.
Thank you.
And, a journey in the hospital and all that stuff is just, many people can relate to it. I think that once I was like, man, we've been here forever. People start sending Venmos of meals and stuff like that because they're like,
Aw.
we know how it feels, like
Yeah.
every day pretty much almost because we had groups of people, like all my step siblings, and then my mom's siblings came from Australia. I was able to like get us one meal, from the generosity of fans.
That's
That's
beautiful.
so
So
sweet.
it's very cool to have that support from the outside and then through our family. And yeah, that journey again is hard for anybody. And I'm glad that I can be vulnerable in times like that so other people also feel like they're not alone in it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the beauty of anybody with like a platform and has even specific things that they go through, or if they work on a barn. I don't know why I thought of that, but the horseshoe videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh
I
my
love
God.
those videos.
I love those videos. It's like I grew up doing that too on the ranch.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about right now.
Bro,
No, dude, sender
it's
stuff.
fascinating. It's just like people re-putting new horseshoes on
The hooves.
hooves.
It's
It's
wild.
fascinating. It's like watching like someone like a horse get a manicure or a pedicure.
Yeah, and it's a little
okay.
ASMR too.
It's a little
Okay.
ASMR. Yeah,
Clunk,
yeah. I'm
clunk,
gonna
clunk.
send you the sandwich video and the horse.
I want to see the specific sandwich video because that's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. But AJ, at the end of our podcasts, we love giving you the mic to just kind of say whatever you want. Sometimes people give advice, sometimes they just plug, something that they've got coming up. But on our little platform, we're happy to have you on it. So whatever you'd like to say to our audience, please take it away. And again, we really, really appreciate your generosity and your vulnerability today. It's been an amazing conversation.
Absolutely. To everyone who got this far, thank you so much for listening. Thank y'all for hosting as well. A great interview, fun interview. Couple things coming up is my wife's stint at the Nocturne Theater. Thank you. Here in Glendale, which is where we bought a house. So it's been amazing having rehearsals 5 minutes away for her. She's like running late. I'm like feeding the dogs, and she's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go." So that is happening all of May, and then I have Tick Tick Boom at Signet Theater that runs July 4th, I believe, or the first weekend of July until August. And right after that, I have my Take Me Back tour, which is rescheduled dates from April that I had to move for my family, as you just heard. And that is starting August 22nd. And then we actually added dates. So we are going to San Jose, San Francisco, going back to Vancouver and Seattle because they were such amazing dates for us last year. So we're doing repeats of those. And then we are also doing Dallas, Houston, which ticket sales are not amazing for that area. So let's show up Texas. And then we got Phoenix and ending the tour in Vegas. So hopefully that is the end of my year. And I mean, if something comes up, I'm down. I'm booking it if an acting thing comes up, but I would love to take a little break and vacation after
Whether you deserve it. It sounds
after
like
the
you need
14th
it.
of October
Yeah.
in Vegas. So we want to end it right. We're gonna party.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
you gotta.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's my year, and I hope to see anybody who's listening at any of these things. And if you run into me at Disneyland or out in Long Beach or wherever, please say hi. I would love to meet you. And yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Dude, thank you. Thank you so much. We're always happy to support you and uplift you in any way. But we appreciate you coming on and uplifting us too. So it's been a really beautiful conversation. I'm excited.
This is wonderful. This is
Yeah.
a wonderful
Fun.
chat.
Thank you guys.
The Tremendous Talk podcast is produced by Lawrence Sharma, Ashley Rapuano Sanchez, Gabriela David, Joseph Garalde, and Jeremiah Abraham in collaboration with Tremendous. The Tremendous Talk podcast jingle is by Jared Sanchez and Ashley Rapuano Sanchez, produced at Hamsterden Records.